morning, good evening, good whatever time you're watching us from. My name is Lucy Mothoni or Lucy Soni. Thank you so much for always supporting my content. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, a place where we talk about love, life, Jesus, and ministry all under one package. So once again in today's video, I have the one and only Mr. Mungai, and we'll be doing part 2 of our interview. So karibu sana sir.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you for coming today.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yes, thank you. So without much ado, let's get straight into the video. First question will be, tell us the story of your life between the years of 20 to 30 years. How was life then before you got to know about Christ?
Thank you, Lucy. My life as a 20-year-old was very interesting. I first began with diploma courses. So by the time I was 20, I had done a few diplomas. And in my time, it was easy to get a job. So first I got a job and I started working on the strength of my diplomas. And that went on to in the early 20s. And I had a lot of fun because by that time I was able to work in an advertising company. And I was also able to work in a print organization. So that's how I started getting my exposure in the media space. I had always been passionate with electronic media, so I knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So for the first 5 years, I was just working. So I actually did my degrees later and a master's later as I progressed on.
So apart from academics, the work that you did, how was life for you away from that when it comes to Christianity, when it comes to family background? How was life for you in that season? Yeah.
All right. In my early 20s, I knew about God because I was raised in a Christian family, but I wasn't very serious. I would not say I was not a believer, and I was not going to church.
Yeah.
I was just a young man enjoying life.
Yeah.
And you see, I had money. So this was one of the most interesting seasons of my life. A young man, and then I moved out of home quite early.
Wow.
So
yes.
I actually, when I got a job, so I moved out at 21 is when I moved out of home. And I had a good job, which was paying well. I remember my first little place was in South B, in a southern quarter. But I was very happy and content with myself. So that's basically how it was. Just living, having drinks, going out with friends. Just having a life that really, I wouldn't say I had made any goals by that time. So for me, it was just living and just growing in my career.
And you know 21 is such an early age. So I'd like to ask, now that you're at that point, now that you have the freedom, you're staying alone, you have good money coming in, how did you manage to balance your finances? How did you manage to make sure that you continue being responsible, using your money well, knowing, allocating the money to do this and that, maybe paying for the house bills and all that? Yeah.
One thing I want to say is that I had a good foundation. I was taught well about money management, and I have older sisters. One of them was very instrumental. So I remember even when I was living alone, my friends, especially the ladies, used to come to my house because they'd say I was very organized.
Yeah.
Because I'd buy things in stock and stock them.
Oh, wow.
You wouldn't believe it, even at that age, I was cooking. I had a small cooker. So I've been organized for a long time. So those small aspects of life, I wasn't saving much because if, as a young man, then you're enjoying yourself. So you live from payslip to payslip. But basically, that's how I would do it. I didn't have any savings, but I was buying a few things here and there.
Wow, interesting. So that's the challenges you went through as a youth and the mistakes you did, and you learned from them.
That's a good question. One thing I want to say is that being brought up in a Christian family is good, and it has its advantages because of the foundation. But the downside to that is that when you're raised in a Christian home, you're kind of protected. So I didn't have a lot of exposure in the real world. So this is somebody who's been raised in a Christian home with good values. But then now in my early 20s, I go out, I live on my own. Now I'm in the real world with real friends in the real environment. And that's where your faith is put to the test. And obviously you prefer the things of the world. So I went straight into the world and sampled it. And I am so glad that I did all these things when I was younger. Because the way I see it, most people get into trouble later on in relationships, and also those who want to get married. I see many men misbehaving in their older years, in the 30s and 40s. That's because you missed out on some things earlier on. So for me, I say I did everything at an early age, so I messed up at an early age. I did my experimentations, but by the time I was 18, I had done quite a lot of experimenting. So by the time I was 21 going up, I knew the things that I'm going to do, and I knew the things that I will not do. So one of the things that stands up till today, I knew in my mind that I'll never touch hard drugs. So I've never touched any hard drugs. But anything else, alcoholic beverages, smoking, even changa. I even joke with my students, I've even drunk hot, warm changa. Yes, but it's good for your CV. Just do these things and then move on. So those are some of the things I did.
Wow. That's quite interesting. So, are there any addictions you went through when you were youth?
The only addiction I got was alcohol addiction. At some point, I lost control because I realized the media is very fast, and I was working in the media space. So there's a lot of functions, there's a lot of free alcohol, and then on top of that, you can afford to buy it yourself.
Yeah.
So you realize as a young person, you're drinking too much. Like every Wednesday you're out, every Friday you're out, the weekends you're out. So that went on. So you realize that your life is spiraling out of control because it's just entertainment. So that's one of the seasons in my life that I lost control.
And how did you manage to, snap out of it and be like, you know what, I need to manage myself. This is real life,
Wow. My elder sister, because I've always been close to her, we were always in touch. So she realized this guy is in trouble. So, and I've always been the kind of person who listens to counsel. If you tell me I'm going wrong, I will listen to you. Yeah. So that's one of the turning points that I encountered. And I realized I need to change my life. And I was introduced to older mentors. And that's when you realize I'm very passionate about mentoring. Yes. Because it worked for me, and I know it can work for somebody else. But mentorship only works on a needs basis. If you know what you need, and then you get to the right mentor, and then they give you the right counsel, and then you introduce it into your life. So I was helped, and I got into goal setting. Because once you start setting goals, then you know this money I have, I'm going to save it because I want to achieve 1, 2, 3. That's when my life changed completely. Yeah. And I've never stopped from that point.
Interesting. Tell us something about your marriage life, How did you meet your wife?
Wow, interesting. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
I always say that I married a friend, not a lover.
Wow.
Because when we met professionally, then we became friends. Mm-hmm. So we were friends for 3 years before we got married. Wow. And I always told her that I don't understand the word love, so I'm not going to use it. So I've never used that word to my wife up till today.
Really?
Personally, I don't understand the word love. Mm-hmm. Why? Because when I look in the world, the people who say they love each other, the things they do to each other has nothing to do with love. Yeah. So I steer clear from that word. I've never mentioned that word to her. And up till today, we are friends. We have challenges, we have issues, but she's a friend. So we talk. We talk as a conversation. It's not only life and marriage.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. That's what has kept me going. Yeah.
Wow. On that point, how did you know she was the one? How did you know she would be your wife?
Earlier on, when we said, when my life started now getting direction, I made goals. And as I knew I want to get married, I raised 5 qualities. And I said, the girl I'm going to interact with that has these 5 qualities, that will be the one. I needed a lady who's going to accept me the way I am. Because I wanted to be honest. As I said, I've done many things that some which are not good. So I wanted to be honest. So I knew I was going to be honest with her. So I said, if she's going to accept me the way I am. Number 2, I wanted somebody who's mature. Mature means somebody who knows what she wants. I was the first elimination quality I had for a woman is a woman, a yes woman. I can't stand somebody who wants to do everything I want to do. If I say I want to have ice cream now, maybe you want to have me a mature woman. So I want somebody who can think for themselves. So I wanted somebody like that. I wanted a strong woman. Strong woman means somebody who knows what she wants and where she's going in life. So when I come into her life, I'm adding value. I'm not removing any value, I'm adding value to her journey. I wanted a lady who's going to accept my family. Every family has issues. So I was going to tell her my family is like this. We have some crazy people. If you can accommodate them,
yes,
that's fine. Because I was weak spiritually, I needed a lady who is strong spiritually. Because I didn't want to get into a situation where both of us are weak spiritually. Because I'll talk about this in a while. I'm serious about my walk with God. So I wanted somebody who has a relationship with God on her own. And I wanted somebody who would allow us as a couple to work and build a life of our own, not to build our life as part or following other people, to just build our own lives. Yeah, so that was my criteria. Yes.
One more thing, in line to that, would you say that your wife and you have been your biggest supporters, like supporting each other in terms of vision and in the different areas in life that you serve in and you work in? How have you ensured that you've been, teammates working together and ensuring that even when I don't agree with that, I'm willing to compromise and support your vision? How do I make sure that whatever dreams that you have, I'll be your number one supporter? Because I've seen it with my friends, and some of them, even in the relationships that they have, you hear someone saying, I really love this person, but they don't support me. They don't support my content, they don't support my business. And yes, you might not necessarily buy from them because they're selling a product that maybe you don't use. But the fact that you're putting the work out there, I'm telling it to your friends that, hey, my spouse or my boyfriend, my girlfriend is doing this and this. And so how have you ensured in your line of marriage and in your years that you'll be together, that you're always constantly supporting each other's dreams and visions? Yeah.
We were mentored well before we got into marriage. I got married in church.
Yeah.
And before that, there's the pre-marital classes. The person who mentored us, I believe, did an excellent job. And he gave us some tips. And that's what we did. So when we went on honeymoon, by the way, I did everything different. I do everything of mine in a different way.
Yeah.
We did a honeymoon lasted 1 month.
Wow.
So we were just out there. While we were there, we had an A4 pad, and we were writing down our dreams, our expectations. I have that pad up till today. So that has been our guide. So that we support each other. So we support each other in what we're doing academically. In fact, my wife has more academic credentials than me, but we support each other. Now she's pressurized me. She's told me I must do my PhD and things like that, which we will.
Yeah.
So we do support each other in terms of our goals, our individual goals, and then now the family goals, so that we can meet the goals of the family. So we do support each other.
Yeah.
We don't intimidate each other. And I am myself, and she is herself. One of the tests of many tests will come in life. If you're intimidated by your spouse or if you support them or not, is because at some point you may find one is succeeding more than the other in terms of promotions or a new job or a new hustle. Those are situations that come to test you. Will you support this person in that time or not? So we've gone through all that. I believe we've handled most of our challenges well. And we do parenting together. We all have different styles of parenting. I'm more of a fun person. So I'm more of a fun parent. I'll go out, I'll run. She may not want to run. I'll run with my kids. I'll do all those things. I'll swim. If we go for bungee, I'll be the first one in there. So I do all those things. But just do the things that align to your personality, and just support the other one in what they do.
You mentioned about parenthood.
Yes.
I'd love to make a few pointers in that before we move away to another question.
Yes.
Just to mention that you have a teenage son,
Yes.
How has fatherhood been for you? How can you define fatherhood? That's one of the questions. And secondly, how have you ensured that as you're raising up a teenager, that you're training them to be vocal about how they're feeling, vocal about their opinions, vocal about just making sure that whatever stage they're in, it's okay to feel that, it's okay to talk about it. Yeah. How have you established that relationship between you and your son? Yeah.
I have made it's deliberate that I have chosen to be a present parent. I'm always present in my children's life. Most of the evenings I'm at home and we talk. And then I try to create opportunities for us to go out and do some activity or out for a drive so that we talk. I see, like currently my son doesn't comb his hair, and it's no big deal. I'm more of building character than physical appearance.
Yeah.
So those are the mentorship is very important to mentor your children. Find out what they're going through. So I have actually had to learn so that I understand how do they view the world from their perspective, so that I can be a support so that I can try and understand, so that I don't place too much pressure on them. Even in academics, we tell him to do the best that he can, and we'll accept whatever marks at whatever stage he's at, whatever marks he brings, we will accept, because there's always an opportunity out there for whatever grades, whatever level you are, there's something for you out there. So that's how I have been doing my parenting. Yeah. And actually, and the number one mentor for a boy child, they really look up to their fathers. So I've tried to be a positive role model. They see me at home, they see what I do professionally, they see what I do socially, they see the kind of friends I have, the places I go to. I take them to most of the places I go to, and the people we interact with, or I interact with, so that I have a transparent kind of a life, so that they know their father is not living another life somewhere else. Yeah, so I think that's important.
I think now that you mentioned that, I would like to also highlight something you said about being a present, father in a son's life, because especially for us, the girls, it gets to a point where, and I've seen it not just with me, but also with my friends. If you've not had the opportunity to have a father figure in your life, and just have someone who's always encouraging you, being there for mentorship, and sometimes even discipline, there's that void that is left. And at times it's very easy for you to go go and look for, what's the right word? Validation. You go looking for validation in your boyfriend, and because of that, it has raised a lot of expectations, even as one is moving from singlehood to maybe a relationship or even marriage, because you have this expectation of, I want him to do this for me, I want him to be like this and this, and because maybe your father was not present, is that void that you're expecting your boyfriend or even your husband to fill. Yeah, so maybe you can just talk about that in a minute. Yeah.
I'll always tell any young person, whether a boy child or a girl child, if you missed anything in your upbringing, or you're missing it right now, look for it, you can find it. There are mentors out there. They are responsible men. I'm not speaking ill of any father who's not there, but if you didn't get something, especially in terms of mentorship and validation, especially both boy child and girl child need validation from a father. If you didn't get it, look for a father figure out there who will appreciate you and just tell you those words you need to hear. That it is well and you will succeed, and have a relationship with that person, because that's very important. Look, let me give a common example I give. President Obama was raised by another man because his father was absent. He says the longest time he spent with his father was when he was 10 years old. I think they spent 20 minutes. That's what he remembers, the 10-year-old boy. But this other gentleman who came into the mother's life raised him. And if you look at Obama, you will see this man was raised. He's balanced, he has character. So somebody else can do that. So that's what I would advise.
And it's good that you mentioned that, because maybe there's someone who's watching, and especially for the guys, they don't know that you have a program called the Man Enough program. So I just want to encourage them that it's actually really okay to reach out for help, to reach out for mentorship, to reach out for, just looking for a friend or a father figure, just in case, as our guest has said, just in case there's something you miss and you want, someone to walk the journey with you, someone to just do life with you. I'll put Mr. Samuel's Mungai contact and something, a little information about the program, so that someone who's watching can reach out to you and then you can just get to do life with them together. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So tell us about your stand on Christian doctrine. What do you think about that?
All right. That's a good question. I have made it my life purpose not to follow anything that I don't understand. And I said I'm a Christian. I personally have a problem, or I disagree with Bible doctrine. But I agree with the Bible and the teachings of the Bible. So those are two separate issues. Please note that this is my opinion. You can challenge it. Bible doctrine, as far as I know in a summary, comes from the Church of England, which is predominantly based on the British culture. And that is why, for example, you realize many of the teachings of Bible doctrine are not actually in the Bible. I want to mention something right now that's very controversial. And Bible doctrine tells us that you shouldn't allow polygamy or anybody who has a second wife to serve in the church. There is nowhere in the Bible that prohibits polygamy. So you see there's a disconnect. You may find, like in the Bible, you may find people, men, who have very high libido. And if you listen to a certain radio station, here, a Christian radio station, there are women who call in and they say, my husband is so active in bed. He's there every day. Now, there are those kind of people whom God created. And if you check in the Bible, these people had another wife. So for me, I'd rather follow the teachings of the Bible. I don't follow Bible doctrine. And I always tell people, read the two and understand them. Many of the preachers we have in the churches today have studied Bible doctrine. And very few have studied theology. quite well. Because I think right now in church we should be teaching more about the teachings of the Bible in terms of what is happening. Very few people actually can connect what is happening in the world today with the teachings of the Bible. Because the Bible is the only book, as far as I'm concerned, the only holy book in the world that has prophecy that is proven right now in our lifetime so far. Last year and this year, 2 prophecies have come to pass. One is President Donald Trump. He announced the capital of Israel, and he moved the embassy from Bethlehem to Jerusalem. That is scriptural, it's in the Bible. Yeah. Right now, currently, there is a war beginning, attacks on Israel from all these countries here, supported by Iran and Russia in the background. This is recorded in Ezekiel 38 and Ezekiel 39. This is the war of Gog and Magog. And this was like the warm-up. Now, as far as I'm concerned, people should be teaching more of what is in the Bible than Bible doctrine. We have another challenge. I have been in church, I've been a youth mentor in my church and patron for a long time. One of the things I see in the church, this is my own observation, is that we have very few men serving in church or even in the youth. Why? Because the system has already defeated men. Many men shy away because many are living polygamous lives. And the church has said, if you're polygamous, keep away from church. So we've locked out very many able men from church. The society is also hitting men very hard. Right now, there are more empowered women than men. Now, a man who's disempowered economically because of ego and other issues will not perform his manly duties well. And that's why you find many homes today are run by women and not by men. And that's why women are frustrated, because the order of God is for men to lead the homes. So you see, when we have a lot of doctrine, it clouds our judgment on the will of God. Those are my views. So for me, that's how I live my life. So I'm not going to judge anybody. I'm not going to condemn anyone because he has a second wife. By the way, I won't even judge anybody who's in church and who's drinking alcohol, because you don't know their story. In fact, in my opinion, I say there are many people who don't go to church who will make it to heaven, and there are very many people in church who will not make it to heaven. Because Christ is not everyone who mentions the word of Christ or God will make it to heaven. Today, not every song that has the word Jesus is a righteous song or a song of worship or praise. I believe that what God states in the Bible is that He wants a relationship with us. So you need to be repenting every day. Like, I have issues, I have many things that are not right. But if you're repenting every day and praying every day and you have a relationship with God, that's what He looks for. Not a person who comes to God only when you have a crisis. Because doctrine will give you a false image. I'll give another example. In the Western countries, very recently we saw Bill Gates separate. And even in the UK and America. Because most of these people got married under the doctrine of God. Doctrine is contractual. And that's why you find many of these people, like people in UK, Christians, get married under doctrine, not faith-based. And that means they are contractual and they are both equal parties. And they get married and we see them separating for a while because the contract says we'll be together until our children reach teens, like Bill Gates. And up to that, you have fulfilled the requirements of this contract. So they get out. If you're married in a faith-based marriage, you made a vow and you made a covenant with God.
And you get to know that God hates divorce.
Now you know this, now you have a triangle here, the husband, the wife, and God. Now, if you're going to breach this contract, you have to deal with God. So we need, now if these were the things being taught in church, so by the time you make your vow, you know what you're doing. Because right now we're getting into church and we're mixing faith-based and doctrine and not traditional. So there's a lot of confusion. So we need to get out of this mess and help our people make informed decisions. So if you're not ready, I would tell you don't make any vow with God. Because you can't get out of a covenant with God. And if you make this covenant, you have to stay. So those are my views.
I think what I'd say on that is that just go back to the dream rule. God will always speak in the context of His word. And God will never ask you to do something that He is not. God will never ask us to do something outside who He is, you know. So always go back to the word of God. Get to know what is God saying about your life in that season. What is God saying about our nation in that season? Because God will always speak in the context of His word. Yeah. And so as you're going to do a segment of this and that, so I'm going to mention some two things. Then you tell me what you prefer between the two things. So do you prefer tea or coffee?
Tea.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Why?
Every new day for me is a fresh new day because I plan. There's something people don't know about me is that I lead a very organized life. I account for every day I live. If I've ever taught you, you will realize that even in the morning, I have prepared for each lesson. It's not random. I prepared for that lesson. So every day, I plan for my day. So every new morning is a new day for me. And I have goals. I have few goals to achieve on that.
Yeah. Do you prefer movies or series?
Series.
Oh, interesting. Tell us one thing about yourself that you think or know no one knows about. Something that you don't know about you.
I am very emotional.
Oh, wow.
But I keep it under wraps.
I will never tell.
Yes, I have this persona, but inside there's a very soft person. So I've had to work on it because people take advantage of that when they realize that.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person who, if you tell me you're in need, I'll remove money and give you. And you could be a fake. So those kind of things. So now I've had to be very cautious. Yes.
What's your favorite animal?
I love cats.
Cats. Why not dogs?
No, not dogs. I love cats because they are nice and calm and friendly.
Wow.
And if I have a cat, it will be male, it will be nurtured, and I'll spoil it and it will be big.
Oh,
yes.
Wow. So I think that's it for today's interview. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined us in today's conversation. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. For the men who are out there, if you want to know more about the Man Enough program, I'm going to leave the details in the description box. Until next time, God bless you, and always remember to have a positive mind and encourage each other in everything that you do. Remember, you're being equipped to equip others. God bless you.